You check your savings account. The number is actually decent, maybe even good. You've been disciplined. You've said no to dinners, skipped vacations, bought the cheaper version of everything. And yet, there's this feeling, this tight knot in your chest that whispers, it's not enough. So you save more, you cut deeper, you start feeling guilty about buying coffee, about replacing shoes that are literally falling apart. And here's the strangest part. The more you save, the worse you feel. The number goes up, but the anxiety doesn't go down. You're not broke, but your nervous system doesn't know that. And if that sounds like you, I need you to stay for this one. If this is the kind of content that actually makes you feel understood, hit subscribe and like this video because we go deep here and I don't want you to miss what's coming next. Because what you're experiencing isn't a money problem. It's a safety problem. And your brain has been running an ancient survival program that no savings account can satisfy. Let's open the hood. First, let's get something straight. You are not crazy for feeling this way. You're not ungrateful, and you're definitely not bad with money. In fact, you might be too good with money, and that's part of the problem. Society has two scripts for people and money. Script 1, you spend too much, you need discipline. Script 2, you save a lot. Great, you're winning. But there's a third script nobody talks about. The one where you save compulsively, deny yourself constantly, and still feel like you're one emergency away from disaster. This isn't financial discipline. This is financial hypervigilance, and it's as painful as overspending. It's just invisible, because from the outside, it looks like you have it all together. You don't get sympathy for this. You get praised, and that praise becomes a trap because it reinforces the very behavior that's quietly eating you alive. So let's understand what's actually happening inside your brain. Your brain has a region called the amygdala. Think of it as your internal smoke detector. Its job is simple: scan for threats and sound the alarm. Now, in a healthy financial situation, the amygdala scans, sees that the bills are paid, there's food in the fridge, there's money in the account, and it goes quiet. But in an anxious brain, the smoke detector is miscalibrated. It doesn't just detect actual smoke, it detects the possibility of smoke, the memory of smoke, the idea that somewhere, somehow, smoke could appear. So even when your bank account says safe, your amygdala says not yet, save more, cut more, don't relax. This is called threat hypervigilance, and it doesn't respond to numbers. It responds to feelings of safety. And those are two very different things. You could have 6 months of expenses saved and your amygdala will move the goalpost. What about 12 months? What about medical emergencies? What about a recession? The goalpost never stops moving because the amygdala's job isn't to make you feel comfortable. Its job is to keep you alive. And it doesn't know the difference between I might not make rent and I only have a 5-month emergency fund instead of 6. To your smoke detector, both are fire. Now here's the deeper question. Why is your smoke detector miscalibrated in the first place? For most anxious oversavers, the answer lives in the past, specifically in what financial psychologists call money scripts, the unconscious beliefs about money that were written into your operating system before you were old enough to question them. These scripts get installed in childhood, not through lectures, but through atmosphere. Maybe you grew up watching your parents fight about bills behind a closed door. You didn't understand the words, but your nervous system recorded the tension, the cortisol, the fear in their voices. Maybe you heard phrases like, "We can't afford that," "Money doesn't grow on trees," "Do you know how hard I work for this?" Maybe there was a moment, a job loss, an eviction, a lights getting shut off moment that branded itself into your memory. Or maybe it was subtler. Maybe money was just never discussed, a black box of anxiety that everyone tiptoed around. Whatever the source, your brain wrote a script, and that script probably sounds something like this. Safety is fragile. It can be taken away at any moment. The only way to survive is to never ever stop preparing for the worst. That script was adaptive then. It helped you survive an unpredictable environment. But now it's running on autopilot in a completely different life, like a fire alarm that was installed during an actual fire and never got recalibrated after the fire was put out.
And here's what makes this truly exhausting. Every time you make a spending decision, even a small one, your brain runs it through this threat detection system. Coffee? Threat assessment. New shoes? Threat assessment. A birthday gift for a friend? Full threat analysis. This process floods your body with cortisol, the stress hormone. Not a lot each time, just a microdose. But those microdoses accumulate. Researchers call this decision fatigue under scarcity framing. Your brain is treating every single purchase as a survival decision. $5 for coffee isn't $5 for coffee, it's $5 away from safety. So by the end of the day, you're not just tired from work, you're tired from running hundreds of invisible threat assessments on every transaction. You've been in a low-grade fight or flight state since breakfast. And the cruel irony is this constant stress actually impairs your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for rational financial planning. So the anxiety that's supposed to protect your money is actually making you worse at managing it. And this leads to what I call the deprivation paradox. You deny yourself things you can afford. You feel virtuous for a moment, but then the deprivation builds. You start to feel resentful, tired, empty. And eventually, one of two things happens. Either you snap and binge spend, buying something impulsive and expensive in a moment of emotional exhaustion, and then the guilt and shame spiral starts, which confirms the original script that you can't be trusted with money. Or you never snap. You just shrink. Your life gets smaller and smaller. You stop doing things. You stop living. You exist in a permanent state of financial survival mode, even though you're not actually surviving anymore. You're earning, you're saving, you're safe, but your body never got the memo.
Okay, so how do we recalibrate the smoke detector? I want to give you 4 tools, not budgeting hacks. Those aren't your problem. These are nervous system tools designed to close the gap between what your bank account says and what your body feels. Pick one. Just one, and try it for 2 weeks. Right now, your brain has no definition of enough. The goalpost is infinite, so we need to give it a finish line. Here's the exercise. Sit down and calculate your actual safety number. This is the specific amount of money that covers your non-negotiable expenses for a defined period, let's say 3 months. Write it down, not a vague idea, a specific number. Rent, utilities, food, insurance, transportation. Add them up. Multiply by 3. That number is your safety floor. Now here's the critical part. Once you hit that number in your savings, you need to practice telling your brain, the floor is built. We are safe. Anything above this line is not survival money. It's living money. Your amygdala needs a concrete boundary. Without one, enough is a horizon. You walk toward it and it keeps moving. The safety number turns the horizon into a wall you can touch, a wall you can lean against. Everything below the line, protect it fiercely. Everything above the line, give yourself permission to use it. This isn't reckless, this is strategic. You're not removing the safety net, you're defining its edges so it stops consuming your entire life. This one comes from anxiety therapy, and it works beautifully for financial hypervigilance. The principle is simple. You can't think your way out of anxiety. You have to experience safety to believe it. So we build an exposure ladder. Start at the bottom with the least anxiety-provoking financial action and slowly climb. Rung 1. Buy something small that you want, not need, want, for under $5. A fancy coffee, a song, a sticker, something frivolous. And then sit with the discomfort. Don't justify it. Don't earn it back by skipping lunch. Just let the purchase exist. Rung 2. The next week, increase it slightly. Maybe a book, a meal out, a small treat for someone you love. Rung 3. Keep climbing. A piece of clothing you've been putting off, a hobby supply, a spontaneous yes to a friend's invitation. Each rung teaches your nervous system a lesson that no spreadsheet can. I spent money and I'm still safe. The world didn't end. This is corrective experience. You're not being irresponsible.
You're retraining your smoke detector by showing it, over and over, that spending within your means is not a fire. This one is fast and invisible. You can do it anywhere. Before every spending decision that triggers anxiety, pause and do a somatic check-in. Ask yourself 3 questions. 1. Where do I feel this in my body? Chest, stomach, throat. Name the location. 2. Is this a now threat or a then threat? Meaning, is this anxiety about my current financial reality, or is my body replaying an old script from childhood? 3. If my safest, wisest friend looked at my account right now, would they say I'm in danger? 9 times out of 10, the answer to question 2 is then, and the answer to question 3 is no. This doesn't make the anxiety vanish, but it creates a micro gap between the feeling and the reaction. And in that gap, your prefrontal cortex gets a chance to speak before your amygdala makes the decision. Over time, that gap gets wider, and that's where freedom lives. This one is the most counterintuitive tool, and probably the most important. Add a line item to your budget called joy, or living, or permission, whatever word doesn't make your skin crawl. Give it a fixed amount. It doesn't have to be large, even $20 a month. The amount matters less than the existence of the category. This line item is non-negotiable. It is not the first thing you cut when anxiety spikes. It is protected, just like rent, just like utilities. Why? Because right now your budget is a survival document. Every dollar has a job, and every job is defensive. Save, protect, prepare, brace. The joy line item rewrites the script. It tells your brain, we are not just surviving, we are allowed to live. And living is not a threat to our safety. It's the whole point of being safe in the first place. Spending this money will feel uncomfortable at first. That discomfort is not a sign that you're doing something wrong. It's a sign that you're doing something new. And new always feels dangerous to an anxious brain, until it doesn't. So here's what I need you to hear. If you've been saving and the anxiety never goes away, you are not broken. You are not ungrateful. You're running a survival program that was written during a time when you actually needed it. But that time may be over, and the bravest thing you can do now isn't to save more. It's to let yourself feel safe with what you already have. Your bank account has been trying to tell you something for a long time. It's been saying, you did it. You're okay. You can exhale now. It's your nervous system that hasn't caught up yet, and that's okay. That's not a flaw, that's just a smoke detector that needs recalibrating. So be patient with yourself. Pick one tool, start small, and remember, the goal was never to have the most money. The goal was to have a life worth spending it on. You've built the safety net. Now it might be time to actually use the trapeze. And if this video helped you see your money differently, even just a little, leave a like. It tells me this matters to you too. And if you want more like this, the kind that doesn't just tell you what to do, but helps you understand why you do what you do, subscribe. I'll be here. We'll figure this out together.